baseball season. How excited are you about this Mariners team?
I'm fired up, man. A week at spring training, it sort of reinforced listen, you come in with a level of optimism after last year. You know, the young guys that produced last year have a year under their belt. Julio's going to be a year better. Cal Raleigh's going to be a year better. Logan Gilbert, George Kirby. I mean, there's a lot to be excited about. But getting a chance to watch these guys work and see how much they put into their craft, especially Logan Gilbert, and just everything. Just taking it in for a week, just being around that vibe and that atmosphere and seeing how much confidence everybody has. They expect to be good. They expect to be in the playoffs. It's not even really a question. You can't help but soak up that kind of confidence and optimism when you're out there for a week. So yeah, I am beyond fired up.
What do you think about their off-season moves now that you've seen them up close at spring training?
I love Teoscar Hernandez. I still love that move. I think it's great. Colton Wong, we'll see. He looks good defensively, and that was the big, if there was a negative about his season last year, was 17 errors. And we've talked about it before. We had the beat writer on from Milwaukee that said, actually, it should have been more. He got some favorable scoring from the hometown, whatever. But, so that was something I was really watching. Like, all right, how does he look out there? He looked really good defensively. I know it's spring. We qualify everything good or bad with spring training, but he looked good. We'll see where he hits in the lineup. It seemed like they were kind of toying with him being a leadoff hitter. He got a lot of opportunity at the top of the lineup, but I'm more optimistic about him. AJ Pollock, I didn't see him out there a ton. Tommy La Stella, I've got no expectation of. I think they're just kind of veteran guys that, hopefully will provide that leadership in a clubhouse that I've been there before. I've done this. Pollock's 35 years old. Hits lefties well, so we'll see how often that rotation happens with him and Jared Kelenic. If Kelenic is red hot, leave him in there. Don't platoon him. I want to see him out there until he's not hot. And he was scorching in spring training. So I think the biggest move was obviously Teoscar Hernandez. Colton Wong would be the next, and then the other two I think those are veteran guys you need for experience, vibe, keep the young guys in check, and they can contribute certainly, but I don't look at those as major moves by any stretch.
Talked to a lot of Mariners this offseason on the air. You got any new favorite guys?
Cooper Hummel, and not because I think he's going to be a superstar. It'd be great if he was, but he was like talking to a fan who won a competition to hang out with the Mariners. He was so excited. He grew up in Portland. He's a long-time Mariner fan. He talked about as a kid, he had a Mariner trash can and his wall was painted with the Mariner logo on it, his entire bedroom wall, and he had the Mariner beer steins and all this stuff. And he's talking about, I've got balls with Ichiro's autograph and this guy's autograph. I still have to get Mike Cameron's autograph. He's still a fan. He is a hardcore Mariner fan. And to talk to somebody that's a big league ball player with that much enthusiasm, that is that excited to be a part of this, you couldn't help but fall in love with that guy. I don't know what he's going to do. I don't know how good he'll be, but he's impossible not to root for. He was one of my favorite interviews out there.
What's your one biggest concern about the Mariners?
I'm curious to see the lineup. I mean, the last 2 years, their biggest weakness has been their offense. Last year for a majority of the season, they led the league in runners left on base. Are they going to be able to bring these guys around? Is there going to be more production? Is it going to be a longer lineup? And that's going to fall on Kelenic. It's going to fall on J.P. Crawford. J.P. Crawford is a guy I'm not worried about. I'm interested. I'm interested to see what he does because you need him to be better than he was last year. He did not have a good year. He had a great start in April, and then it just tailed off. It wasn't a great year defensively. It was certainly not a great year offensively. He's one of the leaders on this team. So I'm not concerned, but I'm watching him closely just to see, because you don't have an obvious replacement. He's dealing with a foot that he fouled the ball off of, and we're talking about who's going to occupy that spot with Dylan Moore hurt. So Sam Haggerty is the choice. I don't know, what Haggerty looks like at shortstop. I haven't seen him, but they need JP to be JP Crawford. So he would be individually a guy I would be very interested in seeing. And Kelenic, everybody's curious if he can hit. That goes along. That helps his team in such a massive way, because you didn't have him last year. You had him. He was there. He wasn't hitting. So imagine that defense with a guy who's producing at the plate. that lengthens that lineup. Maybe it limits the platooning with A.J. Pollock. It goes a long way into making this team that much better.
The people like a hot take. You got a hot Mariners take?
I was going to throw Kirby into the Cy Young mix, but that doesn't appear to be that hot. That's just kind of a lukewarm take because I've seen it in different publications now since you and I talked about it. I've seen a couple different national writers bring up the idea of him being in that conversation. So that doesn't appear to be that hot. How about yesterday on the air I said Ty France is going to be in the running for the batting title. If he's healthy, he's going to be in the running. He's going to be amongst the top candidates for that batting title. I don't know if he's going to win, but he's going to be in it. As long as he's healthy. We've seen it. He's a guy that if he plays up to his level and can stay healthy, that's another thing that's absolutely huge and crucial for this team.
Do you think the Astros are maybe showing that they're vulnerable?
I think their injuries are going to hurt them out of the gate, hopefully, really badly. I mean, when you got McCullers down, you got obviously Jose Altuve down. They seem like they just kind of, their farm system is really good, and they just seem to replace whoever goes away or is hurt or whatever. So I'm far from writing them off. I think the gap has closed a bit. If I have to pick who I think is going to win the division, I would still, logically, I'd have to pick them until they prove otherwise. I think that gap between them and the Mariners is closed, but I think there's opportunity. You see a couple of cracks here and there. Some guys getting a little older. Altuve was terrible to start the year when he was healthy last year. Now he's just not going to be there. So how long does it take him to get up to speed once he's able to do baseball activities? Maybe Bregman will struggle. He's a guy that was a little hot and cold at times last year as well. So I don't know. Yordan Alvarez is dealing with, he's got bad knee. He looks like a guy who's 35. They say he's 25. He's got the body of a guy who might be 35. So I know he's dealing with some wrist injuries. He's had knee issues. So maybe if we're lucky, all of that will crop up at the same time, and that'll bring them back to the pack a bit.
All right, let's wrap it up with a prediction. What do you think the Mariners' record is going to be, and where is their season going to end?
Where's it going to end? Game-wise, I thought last year I was half right. I said they'd be a better team than they were the year before, but their record wouldn't be as good. I didn't think they'd win 90 games again, but I thought they'd be a better team. I think they're an even better team than they were last year, and I'm going to say they're going to win 92 games. How about that? So 92 games. Where do they end? I think they get through the first round of the playoffs again. Do they get through the second round? Yes, they get through the second round. Just putting it out there right now, being optimistic. They get through the second round, it ends after that. They don't get to the World Series this time, but they're going to take that next step this year.